Imagine this, you're sitting across from her at a dimly lit cafe, your coffee untouched, her eyes locked on yours for just a little too long before darting away. She laughs at your joke, leans in, then retreats slightly, making you chase her attention again. In that instant, you feel it, a subtle tug of war. She's not asking you to buy her anything. She's not begging for affection. What she's pulling from you is strength. And whether you realize it or not, she's testing to see if you can hold your ground, or if you'll crumble under the weight of her silence, her glances, her shifting energy. Have you ever wondered why so many women seem drawn to the men who don't flinch, don't beg, and don't yield? It's not random. It's psychology, and it's older than both of you. Some women won't say it out loud, but they crave conquest not in the sense of violence or cruelty, but in the sense of being met by a man whose presence cuts through their chaos. They crave the man who doesn't fold when she withdraws. They crave the man who doesn't over-explain when she's moody, the man who refuses to chase when she runs. Deep down, she wants to be pulled into strength, not coddled by weakness. And here's the brutal truth when you try to please her endlessly. When you overinvest, when you act like her emotional babysitter, you don't earn her love. You bleed out your power. And once that power is gone, so is her respect. Picture this scenario. She goes cold for a day, doesn't answer your texts. You panic, you double text, you call. You send a long message trying to explain how you feel and asking if she's okay. Do you know what she sees in that moment? Not love, not care. She sees control slipping out of her hands and you scrambling to hand it right back to her. You just proved you're the one who bends, while she's the one who dictates the rhythm. That isn't strength, that's surrender. And women don't fall for surrender. They fall for dominance, not the toxic kind, but the kind rooted in restraint, silence, and self-control. Think of it like this: every time she withdraws, every time she flirts with indifference, she's watching your reaction like a hawk. Do you spiral? Do you beg? Or do you calmly continue your life? Showing that your world doesn't collapse because she's being unpredictable. That indifference, real, unshaken indifference, is the conqueror's edge. It communicates, you can come closer if you want, but my value isn't up for negotiation. That's when she leans back in, because she feels the pull of strength she can't shake off. Here's the trap most men fall into. They confuse attention with affection. She gives you a little taste of validation, then withdraws it, and you chase like a dog desperate for scraps. That's not romance, that's training. You're being conditioned to dance for her approval, and you don't even see it. The only way out is to stop moving when she pulls the string. Stop reacting like your worth is on the line every time she withholds warmth. Let her silence hang in the air. Let her come to you when she realizes you're not moving an inch. That silence will terrify her in a way your words never could, because it shows her you are not hers to control. You might wonder, why does this work? Because women live in emotion. Their power is emotional turbulence. But your power is the ability to anchor, to stand firm when everything around you tries to knock you off balance. A woman feels safe, oddly enough, when she feels conquered by that strength, not by gifts, not by compliments, not by constant reassurance. She feels safe when she knows you cannot be broken by her storms. That's the conquest she secretly craves, not your obedience, your unshakable presence. So here's your tactic. Sharp and simple. The next time she pulls away, stop chasing. The next time she tests you with silence, lean back into your life, your purpose, your focus. When she hints that you don't care enough because you're not groveling, look her in the eye and calmly say, I don't chase, I don't beg. You either want this or you don't. No yelling, no drama, just presence. That's not cruelty, It's clarity. And clarity is what weak men avoid, but strong men embody. And here's the cost of not learning this every time you give in. Every time you bend to her emotional games, you lose a piece of yourself. And the tragedy is, she doesn't even want you to bend. She wants you to stand, but because you won't, she loses attraction, she drifts, and you're left wondering why she doesn't look at you the same anymore. The answer is simple: you gave her everything but the one thing she truly wanted, your strength. Have you ever recognized yourself in this exact situation? What happened next? Which of these traps have you fallen into before chasing, over-explaining, begging? What's the hardest part for you, staying silent or walking away? You've probably noticed this pattern before. The man who tries everything to please her ends up ignored, while the man who barely lifts a finger commands her full attention. At first, it feels unfair. You think, why does she reward indifference and punish kindness? But the truth is, it's not indifference she rewards, it's strength. And it's not kindness she punishes, it's weakness disguised as devotion. When you bend over backward to secure her approval, what she sees isn't a loving partner, but a man who has abandoned his own center just to orbit around her moods. That doesn't make her feel chosen, it makes her feel burdened. She can't admire a man who trades his spine for her smile. Imagine you're out with her at a party, a group of people are laughing. She drifts into a circle with another guy, giving him playful attention. Most men panic inside. Their first instinct to rush in, stake their claim, cling tighter so they don't lose her. But the man who understands the game doesn't chase into the circle. He holds his ground, keeps his calm, continues his conversation, and lets her notice the absence of his reaction. That moment, though silent, is deafening. She realizes she doesn't control him with jealousy. He controls himself. That's strength. And strength is magnetic. This is why so many men fail. They think winning her heart is about eliminating her doubts, fixing her insecurities, filling every silence with reassurance. But here's the paradox: the more you fill, the emptier she feels. Because in constantly rushing to calm her, you reveal your fear, and fear kills attraction. Women want a man who can see their chaos and still remain unmoved, not cold, not cruel, but immovable. That immovability is what she calls confidence. And when she says she wants a confident man, what she really means is she wants a man who cannot be conquered by her emotional storms. Think about the times she pulled away, maybe after a small argument or when she suddenly acted distant for no reason. You felt it as rejection, so you tried harder buying gifts, sending long paragraphs, proving your devotion. But every time you tried, she seemed colder, almost irritated. You thought, I'm giving more. Why is she giving less? The answer is simple: because the more you give under pressure, the weaker you look. She doesn't want more gifts. She wants more backbone. She doesn't want another text. She wants the silence that tells her you won't be played. That silence is terrifying for her, but it's also irresistible. It forces her to confront whether she's willing to step closer instead of you dragging her back. So what do? Practically, the next time she pulls her affection away, resist the urge to chase. Instead, lean back into your own world. Go to the gym, dive into your work, spend time with your friends, show, through action, that your life continues regardless of her moods. This isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about proving to yourself that you are not dependent on her validation to function. That independence creates the tension she craves. It's the paradox of attraction. When she sees that you don't need her, that's when she needs you most. But let me warn you, detachment isn't about games. If you fake it, if you sulk in silence while secretly begging for her attention, she'll smell it. Women have radar for false strength. True detachment isn't performance, it's belief. It's knowing deep in your bones that your value isn't tied to her moods, and your life isn't held hostage by her approval. When you embody that, you stop reacting, and she feels the difference instantly. That's when her tests lose their power. That's when she softens, because she realizes you are the anchor she was unconsciously searching for. Now, think about the cost of doing the opposite. How many times have you broken your own boundaries just to keep her happy? How many times have you swallowed your words, laughed at things that bothered you, bent your schedule, ignored your priorities just so she wouldn't pull away? And how did that end? Did she love you more? Or did she drift? Every man who has lived this knows the bitter answer. The more you gave up yourself, the less she respected you. And the less she respected you, the less she desired you. That spiral destroys men from the inside out, and most never recover. Don't let that be you. She doesn't want you to be cruel. She doesn't want you to be careless. But she does want to be met with a force she can't move. That force is your strength. And when she finally feels that she can't push you over, that's when she allows herself to lean on you. That's when she trusts. That's when she surrenders not to a tyrant, but to a man who refuses to surrender himself. Have you ever noticed how quickly she lost interest once you started chasing too hard? Can you remember the exact moment she stopped respecting you? What would have happened if, instead of begging, you had stood your ground? There's a truth most men refuse to face every time she tests you. She's not testing your love. She's testing your strength. You may think she wants reassurance, but deep down she's looking for proof that you won't collapse under pressure. When she pulls back, goes cold, or throws a subtle jab at your confidence, she isn't asking for an explanation. She's asking without words, can you hold your ground, or will you break for me? And too many men break. They rush to defend themselves, over-explain, or pour affection over the tension like water on fire. But here's the twist, that fire is what she wants to feel. Without it, there's no spark. Let's be real. How many times have you felt that pit in your stomach when she suddenly shifted, when yesterday she was laughing in your arms, and today she's distant, scrolling her phone, offering one-word replies? That's the moment when weak men collapse. They panic. They start scrolling through old messages, trying to decode what they did wrong. They think if they just find the perfect words, they'll fix it. But strength isn't in the words. Strength is in refusing to chase her mood. If she's cold, you stay warm but silent. If she's distant, you don't move closer, you hold your space. That's how you pass the test. Not with explanations, but with presence. And here's where it cuts deep. Women don't consciously admit this, but the men they're most drawn to are the ones who conquer without lifting a finger. Think about it. She may complain about him, say he's too aloof, too hard to read, but she can't stop thinking about him. Why? Because he never bends. He doesn't seek permission to be himself. And that quiet, unshaken power forces her to lean toward him, even when she swears she won't. That's not cruelty, it's polarity. And polarity is the heartbeat of attraction. You've been taught to believe that love is about compromise, about meeting her needs before your own. But compromise isn't what creates attraction. Boundaries do. Think of a lion pacing in its territory. The lion doesn't apologize for the lines it draws. It doesn't soften its roar to make others comfortable. And yet, everything around it respects those lines. That's how you must be with her. Not harsh, not aggressive, but unmovable. If she senses that your boundaries shift every time she frowns, she knows she owns you. And once she owns you, her desire dies. So let's make this tactical. The next time she throws you into silence, don't fill it. Sit in it. Breathe. Look her in the eye and let the stillness do the talking. If she accuses you of not caring because you're not reacting, don't argue. Say calmly, I care, but I don't beg. That sentence alone separates you from every man who has ever bent over backward for her. If she flirts with another man in front of you, don't grab tighter. Smile. Finish your drink. Keep your cool. Let her wonder why you're not scrambling. That wonder will eat at her more than your jealousy ever could. And if she tries to punish you with withdrawal, match it with patience. The one who breaks first loses. Don't be that man. Of course, this takes discipline, and discipline hurts. It means you'll have to feel the tension without rushing to escape it. It means you'll have to resist the urge to chase her validation. It means you'll have to look your own fear of abandonment in the eye and say, even if she leaves, I don't leave myself. That's the hardest part, because deep down, every man fears losing her. But here's the secret: she's more likely to leave if you chase than if you stand tall. Because once you chase, she knows you'll always give more than she will. And no woman respects a man who's already lost before the battle begins. You need to remember this: she doesn't fall for the man who bends to her moods. She falls for the man who holds his frame. And the more she tests you, the more she's asking you to prove it. Fail, and she loses interest. Pass, and she surrenders not because you forced her, but because she realized she couldn't move you. That surrender is the core of female desire, to feel conquered not by aggression, but by immovable strength. Now think about your past relationships. How many of them fell apart not because you didn't love enough, but because you gave too much? How many times did you try to win her back with effort, only to watch her pull away further? What would have happened if, instead of chasing, you had gone silent and let her come to you? Every man remembers the moment he felt it slip, the moment he realized she no longer looked at him the same. At first, it's small. She takes longer to reply. Her laughter feels forced. Her eyes wander past you in the middle of a conversation, and your gut knows something's shifting. But instead of holding your frame, you panic. You start giving more. You start chasing harder. You text faster, speak softer, buy her gifts, hoping the extra effort will bring her back. But it never does. Because here's the truth: once she senses she can move you with her distance, she will always test if you'll collapse again. And every time you do, you lose another piece of her respect. Respect is the root. Without it, desire dies. And respect isn't earned by proving how much you love her. It's earned by showing how much you refuse to abandon yourself. Think back to when you first attracted her. Was it because you begged? Was it because you explained yourself endlessly? No. It was because you stood tall, had your own life, carried an energy she had to earn. Somewhere along the way, you traded that energy for the illusion of closeness. You gave up the very thing that drew her in, and once it's gone, she feels it immediately. Picture this: she throws a small tantrum because you didn't answer her call right away. Weak men rush to apologize, overcompensate, rearrange their whole lives just to make sure she never feels ignored again. But a strong man, he smiles. Maybe even says, "I was busy," without an ounce of guilt. That calm assurance drives her crazy. Not because he's dismissive, but because he's untouchable. She can't pull him into her storm. He's the eye of it. That's what women crave, the man they can't knock off balance. The irony is, women complain about men who are too strong, too unbothered, too in control. They'll call him arrogant, stubborn, even cold. But when those same women are alone at night, who do they dream about? Not the man who bent to their moods, but the one who didn't. The one who stayed still while she flailed. The one she could never fully predict or control. That's the man she can't forget. That's the man she respects. Here's where you need to shift. Stop seeing her tests as punishments. Start seeing them as opportunities. Every cold silence, every sharp comment, every withdrawal, it's all her asking. Are you strong enough to handle me? Don't answer with words, answer with behavior. If she disappears for hours, don't blow up her phone. If she throws attitude, don't argue her into submission. If she pulls away, don't chase. Instead, anchor yourself deeper into your purpose, your discipline, your life. Let her see that your world doesn't crumble because she's moody. That's when her curiosity ignites again. That's when she leans back toward you, wondering why her old tricks don't work anymore. Now, let's get tactical. When she withdraws, match her with space. Don't announce it. Don't threaten it. Just give her silence. When she challenges you, hold eye contact and keep your tone calm. Never raise your voice. Never rush your words. That calm control is what unnerves her, because it shows her she can't shake you. And when she pushes your boundaries, enforce them without hesitation. If she disrespects you, say clearly, "That doesn't work for me," and walk away if it continues. Not in anger, but in finality. Every time you do this, you plant a flag in her mind. This man cannot be conquered by emotion. But here's the hardest part: you must be willing to lose her. Because if your strength is just a mask, if deep down you're terrified of her leaving, she'll feel it. True strength comes from knowing that even if she walks, you remain whole. That belief changes everything. It changes how you speak, how you move, how you respond. It transforms you from a man who begs into a man who chooses. And women feel that difference instantly. You must ask yourself, do you want her to stay because you begged her to, or because she couldn't resist the gravity of your strength? One choice leads to temporary comfort and permanent resentment. The other leads to respect, attraction, and the only kind of connection that lasts. So tell me this, how many times have you failed that test without even realizing it? How many times have you bought her love with gifts, words, or apologies, instead of holding your ground? And if you had the chance to go back, would you still chase, or would you stand still and let her come to you? There comes a moment in every man's life where he realizes the truth. She doesn't want to carry him. She doesn't want to be the leader. She doesn't want to feel like the stronger one in the room. Even the most independent woman, especially the most independent woman, wants to feel a force greater than her own. A presence that steadies her. A strength that cannot be swayed. She may never admit this out loud, but her behavior will betray it. She pushes, she tests, she withdraws. Not because she wants to destroy you, but because she wants to feel that she can't. And when she discovers you crumble, when she learns you'll sacrifice your spine to keep her close, that's when her eyes grow dull. Not because she hates you, but because you failed to give her the one thing she truly wanted to be conquered by your unshakable strength. Think about it. How many times has she created drama out of nothing? A sigh, an eye roll, a passive-aggressive comment. Tiny sparks meant to see if you'll ignite. You probably thought the right move was to smooth things over, to reassure, to prove your love in that moment. But smoothing over only proves you fear her disapproval more than you value your integrity. And a woman cannot love a man she does not respect. Respect is born when you don't collapse under her emotional storms. When she throws fire, you let it burn out against the stone wall of your calm. That wall is what makes her feel safe, what makes her feel small in the best way, because she knows she cannot move you. Here's the raw, ugly truth: most men are addicted to her moods. They get high off her validation and spiral when she withdraws it. They chase every dip and rise, living like emotional addicts to her approval. But the man who wins long-term, the man she craves but fears, is the one who steps off that roller coaster entirely. He doesn't ride her waves, he builds his own foundation. His center of gravity isn't her, it's himself. And that terrifies her, because it means she can't control him. But it also fascinates her, because it means he's real. Let me put this into practice for you. The next time she stirs conflict over something small, maybe you didn't answer her text immediately. Maybe you didn't notice the change in her hair. Don't grovel. Don't over-apologize. Look her in the eye, smile, and say, "I hear you." Then move on. That's it. No panic. No overcompensation. No bending your life around her complaint. Do this enough times, and she'll stop testing those cracks. She'll realize there are no cracks to exploit. That realization makes her relax into you, because she knows she's finally found a man who won't be broken. And if she escalates, if she pulls away entirely to bait you into chasing, then let her go. Not with bitterness, not with anger, just with silence. Most women who run expect the man to chase. It's a script they've seen 100 times. But when you don't chase, when you continue your life as if nothing has changed, she'll feel the vacuum. She'll realize her power has no effect on you, and that realization pulls her back harder than any words ever could. That's not cruelty, it's strength. And only strength creates desire that lasts. Here's the paradox: most men can't accept the less you try to hold her. The tighter she holds you, the more you fear losing her, the faster you drive her away. But when you stand in the truth that you don't need her to validate your worth, you stop chasing. And that's when she feels what she's been searching for, the rare gravity of a man who cannot be moved. You must understand this isn't about playing games. This is about embodying the kind of man she respects instinctively. A man whose word means something because he backs it with action. A man who sets boundaries and doesn't abandon them under pressure. A man who could walk away tomorrow and still be whole. That is the conqueror she secretly longs for. And if you can become him, she won't just want you, she'll need you. So ask yourself, how many times have you mistaken love for weakness? How many times have you chosen comfort over respect, thinking it would keep her, only to lose her anyway? And the harder question, are you finally ready to stop bending, to stop chasing, to stop giving yourself away for scraps of attention? She didn't break you. She revealed what you were too afraid to protect.